What if I told you that with this one simple formula, you can make endless one-pot meals without a recipe? Today, I'm showing you that formula plus 2 delicious recipes to prove it. I'm also providing you with a free one-pot PDF guide, so be sure to stick around. Oh, and by the way, my name is George. I've been a chef for 10 years and I share a new plant-based cooking or recipe video every week. Making a one-pot dish can be very simple if you just follow these steps. Firstly, you want to choose your ingredients. Having a cuisine in mind can really help with this part, whether it's Spanish, Italian, or Mexican, that's totally up to you. Here is a quick look at the PDF guide that I'm giving you. You can use this to select your ingredients, choosing from these 6 categories, which are your grain, the liquid, veggies, protein, seasonings, and toppings. And by combining these, you'll get a delicious one-pot meal. There is a second page with the cooking times, depending on your choice of grain. So let's put this guide into action and make a delicious Spanish-style smoked tofu brown rice. Start by heating up a large pan, and then once hot, add in about a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half of extra virgin olive oil. Oil is glimmering and hot. Smoked tofu is a great protein source. I can almost eat it without any seasoning, whereas regular tofu, I find I need to use quite a lot of spices, herbs, soy sauce, that sort of thing, to make it palatable. Make sure to put down a damp tea towel or some kitchen roll, or you can get one of these nice handy mats off Amazon, and that's just going to stop your chopping board from sliding around when you're chopping. Simply dice your smoked tofu. Once the oil is glimmering and hot, we're going to actually start with the protein for this one-pot dish, which is going to be our smoked tofu. We just want to get a little bit of color on the tofu, a little bit of caramelization, because color is flavor. That is a very important lesson to learn when cooking. If you've got some color on this tofu, then you know it's going to be slightly crispy and it's going to have a good depth of flavor. So that is the sort of caramelization that we're going for. And we'll just take this tofu out into a bowl or plate, and we're going to add it in a bit later. I'm going to finely chop 1 purple onion, as I like to call them. So we've got the residual oil left over, and we're just going to add the onion to that. And we'll just add 1 bay leaf as well. Now you could leave the tofu in, but it's possible that it might overcook a little bit and potentially go slightly dry. We'll just cook the onions for a few minutes, and then we've got half a yellow pepper and half a red pepper. And then we'll get in our next veggies, which is going to be the red and yellow pepper. It's amazing how good just some onions cooked in olive oil with a bay leaf can smell. Peppers, we won't cook them for ages, as the brown rice is going to take quite a while to cook, and we don't want them to go too overcooked and mushy. For the garlic, just crush with the back of your knife. That's going to get the peel off nice and easily. Because we've crushed the garlic, this is almost like a cheat's way of mincing the garlic without putting too much work in. As you can see, it's already fairly minced and we've barely done any chopping. Next, we're going to add the minced garlic. Just cook that for a minute or so just to take off the raw edge. Just add a little splash of water if you think anything's catching. So unless you're the CEO of Apple, then saffron may be a little bit out of your budget, but don't worry, I've got you covered. Firstly, you could use safflower, which is considerably cheaper. It'll give you the lovely red color you get from saffron. However, it won't give you much of the sort of floral, earthy flavor that you get from real saffron. Another alternative is to make a fake saffron mix with some spices, and this is my favorite way to do it. I'll mix up some turmeric for its golden color and earthy flavor, then some sumac for its red color and citrusy tones, and finally, a little bit of ground coriander for its lovely floral, lemony flavor. And that will give you a similar flavor and color profile as real saffron. You can, of course, use saffron if it's within your budget. It isn't actually as bad as it looks, as you only use a small pinch, so it does last quite a while. For the fake saffron, I've just grounded up some coriander seeds, and I'm adding 2 teaspoons of sumac. I did about 1 teaspoon of the coriander, and then we're gonna also go for about 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and then just mix that up. Smells beautifully citrusy and floral. And there is your little cheap saffron hack. Obviously not going to be exactly like saffron, but it's going to imitate some of the flavors and color. And then we'll add in our spices. I'm going for some smoked paprika and our imitation saffron, 1.5 teaspoons of that. Stir the spices through and let them toast just a little bit. I was going to add the tofu in back at the end, but I'm actually going to add it in now and we'll see how it goes. I want the tofu to really absorb the other flavors, and there's quite a lot of liquid going into this dish, so I hope it shouldn't dry out. That's looking really nice. We can now add our grain of choice, which is going to be brown rice. You want that rice to really get to know the other ingredients and absorb those spices before you add in the liquids. We're also going to let the rice sort of toast a little bit to add another layer of flavor. Flavor layering is what cooking is all about. One-pot dishes really bring me back to my childhood. My mum was the queen of hearty one-pot stews in winter, and I love to recreate that homely feeling now that I've moved out. My liquid of choice for this dish is going to be passata mixed with some vegetable stock. Before I put a lid on, I'm just going to add a nice crack of black pepper. I won't add any salt at this point as we've got the vegetable stock in there. And then once it's simmering like it is now, we'll just turn down the heat to low. And then we'll just pop a lid on so that all the heat is contained and it doesn't dry out. So it's been about 35 minutes, so we're going to turn the heat off and remove the lid. That's looking perfect. I'm just going to drape a tea towel over the top, and then it's going to continue cooking in the steam. And then after 5 to 10 minutes, you'll have perfectly cooked rice. And then to finish it off, we'll just sprinkle over some fresh parsley. I've got some really nice juicy Spanish olives here, which are going to go perfect on this dish. These have actually been brined with some little chili peppers, so they're slightly spicy, which is really nice. And there's beautiful sliced olives. And that is the first delicious one-pot dish using the PDF guide that I curated that you can get in the link in the comment section or the description. Please excuse any mess back there, although I think most of it is actually hidden behind me, so that's good. I'm too hungry to not dig in right now. Wow, that is just so delicious. This is giving serious paella vibes. You've got lovely tender rice, juicy and sweet peppers, tangy olives, and a lovely smoky flavor coming from the paprika and the tofu. So delicious. The lemon just tops it off really nicely. You won't regret making this. Give it a go. Next up, we're making an incredible Persian style chickpea and courgette quinoa packed with dried fruit, herbs, and some amazing spices. Let's get started. Thinly slice your onion. You can use red onion, shallot, or white onion. It's totally up to you. For the courgette, I'm just going to remove the top and the bottom, then cut into about 1, maybe 2 centimeter strips. And then those strips will cut into long batons, and then the batons into nice little cubes. Like so. For the dried fruit, I'm using raisins and dates. The dates I'm just going to simply cut up into slightly smaller pieces. These will add a lovely caramelly chew to the quinoa. Just going to start off by heating up our pan as per usual. Got it over a medium heat. Then once the pan is hot, just a little drizzle of olive oil, about a tablespoon. We're going to keep this really simple and add in our courgettes, onion, and our chickpeas all at the same time. Courgettes are in, and then our onion, peas. And then we'll just spread everything out. We're going to turn up the heat to high, and we're just going to sort of wait for it to start coloring a little bit. I'm also going to add in this cinnamon stick, although this one kind of just looks like tree bark. Hopefully I haven't been scammed. Try not to be tempted to stir it too often. You really want the veggies and chickpeas to start getting some color on them, because color is flavor. That's looking good now. The onion, the chickpeas, and the courgettes have got some good color on them, and the cinnamon stick is releasing its beautiful aroma into the veggies. We'll then add our other spices, starting with half a teaspoon of dried turmeric, half a teaspoon of ground cumin. Then I've got half a teaspoon of cardamom, which I've just ground in the pestle and mortar. It's got such a lovely lemony floral flavor. And then we're going in with 1 teaspoon of sumac. Going to add a little drizzle of oil to help toast the spices. Next I'm adding in my cherry tomatoes, and I'm going to leave them whole. Then the dates and raisins. These are going to rehydrate in the liquid. Next the quinoa, which I've just washed. Not only are one-pot dishes convenient, but they're also incredibly nutritious. Fill them up with hearty whole grains, nutritious veggies, and some plant protein, and you'll be well fueled and nourished to have a great day. Stir that in and get everything nice and coated in those spices. To let the quinoa toast a little bit. And then for liquid, I'm going to be using vegetable stock. Stir that through and we'll just bring it all to a simmer. Once that's bubbling, I'm going to add half of the coriander and parsley over the top and save the other half for garnish. And then we'll just pop the lid on top. And we'll let that cook for 15 minutes. Okay, my watch is getting angry at me and that means the quinoa is ready. So we'll just turn off the heat and we're gonna pop that lid off. Oh yeah, that's looking good. That smells incredible. I'm going to add a little finishing touch of some orange zest on top. And this isn't actually an orange, it's a satsuma, but it's going to do the trick. A nice little finishing citrus note. We're going to quickly pop a tea towel over the top and it's going to finish cooking for the next maybe 5-10 minutes. So we'll just get that orange zest all nice and mixed through. And you can take out the cinnamon stick now, if we can find it. There's another piece. For some crunch, I'm going to add some pecan nuts over the top. And also some fresh herbs. There you go, that is a delicious, fragrant quinoa dish that I'm sure you're going to love. There's something so satisfying about bringing out a one-pot dish, knowing that you've got all the components of a nutritious meal in every spoonful. Here we go. Delicious. Wow. I could eat a lot of that. It is absolutely packed with different flavors and textures. We've got the crunchy nuts, the chewy dates, bursts of freshness from the cherry tomatoes, and just that mix of spices. It's just so fragrant, really delicious. Give this one a try. Oh, it's still filming. Oops. To get your free PDF guide, head over to my Patreon page and sign up as a free member. You'll then get access to the one pot formula guide. I'll put a link to this in the video description, or you can click the link just here, or if you're watching on TV, then feel free to scan this QR code.